We should get those quick jack things.
You should go on a freaking diet and eat a salad, fat son of a bitch.
That's mean.
Huh?
So that was mean.
I know.
So today's agenda is going to consist of finding out what the rear end gear ratio is on the Corvette, and also we're going to finish painting the calipers. We did the fronts, so now we're going to do the rears. I think we're just going to get to the passenger side today, but I'll show you guys how we do that, and I'll also show you how to find the rear end gear ratio for a limited slip differential. So let's get into that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to loosen the lug nuts a little bit so I can take them off once the car's in the air. If you're just trying to find out your gear ratio, you don't need to take the lug nuts off, of course, because you're going to use this actual wheel to turn it and stuff. So with a limited slip differential, if you were to if you had like a posi or an open, you could just jack the car up on both sides if you wanted to. I think you have to actually, and then you would spin the tires and just count it. But with a limited slip, if you put both tires in the air and you spin one tire, the other tire will spin in the opposite direction, and then the drive shaft won't move. So you have to have one tire on the ground and one in the air so that you could count how many times the drive shaft spins. And so I'm not sure if it matters or not, but when you do a burnout with a limited slip, one tire spins first and then the other catches up and starts spinning. You're gonna want to count it from the tire that spins first, just because that's like the main driving wheel. So you're gonna do it on the main driving wheel. So I'm gonna take the loosen the lug nuts off right now. Alright, so I got the car up on the jack and the wheels off the ground. It's in neutral, so I can spin the wheel. Now what I need to do now is I need to put a marker tape on the tire somewhere, just so that I know where like a starting point is, and then I need to put like a little loop around the drive shaft so I can see how many times the drive shaft's turning. So I'm gonna do that right now. Oh, this is really too low. Ouch. Ouch.
It didn't used to be.
Ow. Ah.
You fat thing.
Okay.
Oh, you chubby little bastard.
We should get those quick jack things.
You should go on a freaking diet and eat a salad, fat son of a bitch.
That's mean.
Huh?
So that was mean.
I know.
Hey guys, so I have a camera that's filming the drive shaft so I can count how many times the drive shaft spins, and I have this marker tape right here. I'm gonna spin the wheel 10 times, and since it's a limited slip, you multiply the times the drive shaft spins by 2 and then divide it by 10, and that's your gear ratio. So I'm gonna do that right now. at the footage, and as you guys probably seen, it went 17 3/4 turns. So 17.75 times 2 is 35.5, and then
divided by 10.
35.5. Sorry, 35.5 divided by 10 gives us 355. So it has 355 gears and not 370 gears, which is okay, I guess. At least it's not 308. So 355 gears on the car. My dad was right. He said it was 55. So I guess that's a pretty good ratio. So yeah, that's pretty good. So now that we know the gear ratio, I'm going to take this tire off so that we can start working on prepping the calipers for paint. The next part in today's plan is to clean up these calipers, get them ready for paint. Now, the proper way to do this would be to pull off the caliper, disconnect it from the brake lines, and then just kind of soak it in the Evapo-Rust, and that would get all the rust off of it, and then paint it. But we don't want to take the caliper off, so we're just going to get a toothbrush with some Evapo-Rust and kind of just scrub it on to just the front face of the caliper, and then let it sit. And then we might get some paper towels and put some Evapo-Rust on them, and then just kind of drape them over the surface of the caliper and let it sit so that it kind of just pulls all the rust off. As you can see, the calipers are still rusty. It didn't do much. I mean, it took a lot of the loose stuff off, but to truly get the Evapo-Rust to work, I think it has to be soaking in like a container of it, which I did with the fronts. But I don't want to take, because the only reason I did that with the fronts was because I already had the calipers off, and I don't want to take these calipers off because it's a pain in the butt. So we're doing it this way. Next step, the thing I want to try is the wire wheel. So I'm just going to hit it with a wire wheel, clean it up, and I don't want to call it good, and then I'm going to paint it. So I'm going to do the wire wheel right now. Alright, so after I hit it with the wire wheel, I blew it off, as you can see, and then I hit it with some brake cleaner. Now there's still a little bit of rust, but nothing's loose. All the loose debris is gone. It's nice and clean. So this is going to be good for painting, or at least for our purposes. So I'm going to start masking it up and get this thing painted. Hey, should I have taped up the brake fittings?
Yeah, probably.
So we put 4 coats, or my dad put 4 coats of paint on it, and it's a little tacky still, but it's dry. So we're gonna pull off all the masking and stuff and see what it looks like. So if you take a look at that, nice bright red color with a good amount of coverage. It's a little light right there. That's okay. You're not gonna see that. So yeah, from what you can see from the rotor, it'll be fine. Yeah, so just like nice little touch up, easy way of doing it. It seemed like the Evaporust didn't do much. If your rotor is really rusty, you might as well just dunk it. And again, the proper way would be to remove everything and soak the whole rotor in a bath of Evaporust, but we didn't want to do that. So I would recommend, if you were doing this, just don't even bother with the Evaporust unless it's super rusty, and just hit it with the wire wheel and buzz off all that stuff, brake cleaner, get it all nice and like rusty, at least mostly rust free. But the paint can that I was using, which is Duplicolor caliper paint, it says to remove loose rust, dust, debris. So it's just loose rust. I mean, the paint's probably made to paint over a little bit of rust. But if it doesn't hold up, it won't really matter, because one of these days I'm probably gonna get some Willwood brakes on this thing, and they'll actually be red from factory and they'll be powder coated. So far the front ones have been holding up, but they've only been on there for like a few months. But yeah, there we go. So that's that. If anybody needs a pit crew guy for the NASCAR races, I'm the guy. Alright, so I want to show you what they look like before and after. So here's the driver's side. So as you can see, rusty, and for a brighter day you can see them better, but yeah, they're in there like so. Okay, rusty. And then let's go over to this side. Rusty, and then nice and shiny red. You can see that really well. And it matches the pinstripe and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please go down and leave me a like. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.